tonight. A Saskatoon author says his anti-racism book has been banned in U.S. schools. International leaders talk uranium production at the Midwestern Legislative Conference. And a Regina couple takes their wedding to new heights atop Mount Kilimanjaro.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, July 29th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Across the United States, a growing number of book bans is affecting libraries and schools. And now a Saskatchewan author has found himself at the center of the controversial movement. Sarah Onyengo has our top story.
It's called Stay Up, Racism Resistance, Reclaiming Black Freedom. And the book's Saskatchewan author, Cody Dill, says it's a reflection of his life growing up Black on the prairies, meant to inspire pride and confidence in especially Black youth.
I've had this sort of experience of negotiating identity all throughout my life that I think lends, as I say, a unique perspective to race issues within Saskatchewan and beyond.
But the book now has joined a list of titles that are banned from all U.S. military-run schools, more than 160 worldwide, serving thousands of kids in military families. Dill says it stems from an executive order signed by U.S. President Donald Trump. It's among nearly 600 books that were pulled, many dealing with topics around race and gender, often written by Black, Indigenous, and LGBTQ+ authors.
And I have a feeling that those are the sorts of ideas that are a little bit more threatening to this administration that's in the U.S. right now.
Book bans are facing backlash in the U.S. The American Civil Liberties Union is suing the Defense Department, saying they violate students' rights. PEN America, a group that tracks book bans, is also speaking out on the ban.
There are a lot of good people who are standing up for the value of free speech and for unencumbered communication and for critical education.
In Canada, Stay Up is still available in schools and libraries. And while the ban is disappointing, Dill says it also feels like a strange kind of validation.
There's sort of an affirmation in there where it's like, okay, if the U.S. Department of Defense, essentially, right, the U.S. military, is afraid of my book, maybe I'm doing something right here.
He says if Stay Up is being banned for telling kids the truth about identity, justice, and pride, then he knows he's hitting the mark. Sarah Onyengo, CBC News, Regina.
A gunman killed 4 people when he opened fire in a Manhattan skyscraper Monday night. One of the victims was a police officer, another a business executive.
The shooter is believed to be Shane Tamora, a 27-year-old male with a Las Vegas address. The vehicle he exited is registered in Nevada to Mr. Tamora. According to our law enforcement partners in Las Vegas, Mr. Tamora has a documented mental health history. His motives are still under investigation, and we are working to understand why he targeted this particular location.
Officials say the gunman's body was found at what's described as a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He reportedly had a note that appeared to blame the NFL for his degenerative brain disease. Authorities are looking into whether he targeted the building because it houses the Football League's headquarters. One of the biggest car makers in the world is sounding the alarm over U.S. tariffs. Stellantis says the trade war is expected to cost it about $1.7 billion U.S. in 2025. The automaker announced the hit to its projected earnings as Donald Trump's deadline for a trade deal with Canada is just days away. It has 3 operating plants in Canada, employing almost 9,000 people. Stellantis vehicles that are partly manufactured in Canada fall under the CUSMA trade deal, but they face tariffs of 25% on the portions that are not American-made. Leaders from Canada and the United States turned their attention to uranium at day 2 of the Midwestern Legislative Conference in Saskatoon Tuesday. It's something Saskatchewan has lots of to offer. And as Jeremy Warren reports, it's a product that will likely be in high demand south of the border for some time.
The future of energy in North America is a glowing one, even amidst a tense trade war. That's according to the Saskatchewan Premier and the CEOs of uranium producers and power companies. They spoke Tuesday morning at a bilateral meeting happening this week in Saskatoon. The Midwest Legislative Conference is where leaders from 4 provinces and 11 U.S. states network and discuss policy. North American energy security is at the top of this year's agenda.
We got to get over the noise that's going on with some of that other stuff and get back working together, because together we are a fortress, and we can't stop there. We can't stop there because we are also moving out into the world.
Gitzel told the bi-lateral crowd that Cameco supplies uranium to nuclear reactors in 8 of 11 states at the conference. Cameco just completed a deal to buy American power company Westinghouse. That company says energy demand is driving interest in nuclear power.
We're going through a global reemergence of nuclear on a scale that we haven't seen since the 1970s, 1980s, and it's going to be bigger than that. We're projecting that there are going to be 1,000 new reactors built by the time we hit 2050.
While Canada and the United States are negotiating a trade deal that is likely to include tariffs on many industries, there's currently no energy import tariff on uranium mined here. It falls under the Canada-US-Mexico Free Trade Agreement. Nuclear power generation remains a possibility here in Saskatchewan. The province has already picked potential locations for a small modular reactor.
So it very much is one of the only choices we have moving forward as we shift from other forms of electricity like coal and such to nuclear in the future, from the provincial perspective, and how we're going to provide that reliable, affordable power for not just years into the future, but for decades into the future. We don't have a lot of other choices here, so it is going to be part of Saskatchewan's energy future.
Meanwhile, China is building 10 new reactors, and the U.S. is extending the life of its reactors, some up to 80 years. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Construction season in Saskatoon is in full swing. The city is working on everything from aging bridges to new infrastructure for transit. The Broadway Bridge, which has been closed all summer, is expected to reopen by the end of October. Nearby, upgrades to 19th Street and 4th Avenue are meant to smooth traffic and prep for Saskatoon's new bus rapid transit system. Resurfacing roads, pouring concrete, and replacing old lines are all part of the work being done.
As far as the construction budget context, in 2025, about $78.3 million across bridges, roads, and transportation will be invested in Saskatoon. This is slightly up from the $71.8 million in 2024. We are seeing construction costs rising, with inflation affecting what we can deliver.
Planning is already underway for a revamp of the University Bridge and College Drive next year, including road resurfacing, new bus lanes, and a new pedestrian crossing path. Unusually high temperatures are causing sweltering conditions for millions of people in many regions of Canada this week. Some Canadians have been living with this blistering heat all summer. And as Ithel Musa reports, it may not ease up completely for months.
These New Yorkers are enjoying Canada's capital, but they know on days like this, staying hydrated is key.
It definitely feels like it's been getting hotter, so I guess it's a little bit worrisome in general.
Temperatures reaching well into the 30s, with the humidex in parts of Ontario making it feel hotter than 40 degrees. And the heat is stretching far beyond this province. Parts of BC, the Northwest Territories, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia were all under warnings on Tuesday.
We've seen a lot of these heat warnings across the country, and everybody's shared in them. There's nobody been left out in the cold. Out in the prairies, they had them actually in May, and they've had them also in July. So nobody is feeling that they have been cheated.
Toronto is under its 5th heat warning this year, surpassing last year's total of 4 all summer.
We've just a little bit beyond the halfway point of summer. We still have a lot of summer to go.
He says the poor air quality from one of Canada's worst wildfire seasons only makes it harder to bear. These volleyball coaches have a plan for keeping their players safe.
We have kids that range from ages like 5 to 15, and so the young kids, we make sure they have a lot of shade breaks. And we have 6 coolers behind us right here, and they're done by 12 o'clock, so we have to fill them up again in the afternoons.
Parts of southern Europe are also sweltering under extreme heat. with wildfires burning in Greece and Turkey. And in the U.S., more than 150 million people are under heat alerts, mostly in the eastern half of the country. Extreme heat can cause pre-existing health conditions to get worse, and these 30-plus degree days could last well into the fall. Idil Musa, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, you've heard of the dog days of summer, but what about the dino days of summer? The dinosaur skeleton at the corner of Louvain Drive and Sask Drive in Regina seems to be enjoying this weather, this hot weather like we're having like the rest of the country, especially since it has some extra decorations these days, including some dinosaur-themed accessories as well. And there is more of this weather in store, and Helena Mahalik will join us to talk about it after the break. A Regina couple is still coming down from a lofty adventure. They tied the knot on Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa, earlier this month. And their mountain matrimony came nearly a year after their engagement took place on Mount Everest.
Wife, you may kiss the bride.
So he proposed on, there's this big rock at base camp and somebody's painted on it Everest Base Camp. So that's kind of the landmark that people get their photos taken at. So if he was going to propose, I figured it might happen on this rock because this is kind of the telltale of base camp. But I didn't think he would propose right away. So we get on this rock, and I think we're going to be posing. So I'm up there, and I'm doing a couple poses because I think we're going to get some photos. And then look to my side, and there he is down on his knee. Like, where do I put the ring? What hand does it go on? What finger? That was all lost in the moment. The only thing I knew was yes.
Yeah, so I was really worried about Kelsey finding the ring. I didn't take a ring box or anything. It was just in a little plastic Ziploc bag. And I stuck it somewhere I hoped she wouldn't look, and luckily she didn't look.
Two of our good friends, shortly after we got back from base camp, they said, we're doing Kilimanjaro next year, feel free to join us. And so we were like, well, yeah, we're coming. Yeah. It's funny, they were the ones too who were pushing us to elope there. They thought it'd be really neat. And I was thinking, no, I don't want it to overshadow their trip at all. And as soon as I said that, they sent back a screenshot that he got ordained, and they're like, just do it. In our tent before leaving, I had put my dress on underneath all my layers. I tucked it into my rain pants and then hiked the whole 7 hours up in my wedding dress under all my layers. So our friend who married us, he had put together a speech, and he said, like, we don't know how weather conditions will be up there, so I have a 5-minute version or a 1-minute version. And he looked at me and said, you tell me which one to do at the top, it's your call. And as soon as we got to the top, and it's like, yeah, it's the 1-minute version. It is freezing up here. 1-minute version's all we need. I was one of those kids that actually never dreamed of my wedding. I never pictured myself in the big dress or anything. And so that was, yeah, this was absolutely perfect. I figured I'd always kind of end up eloping or something like that. Kind of combining adventure with love, and yeah, so that was it.
And weather specialist Helena Mahalik joins us now. A little chilly for the happy couple up there on Mount Kilimanjaro, Helena, but back down here closer to sea level, of course, a lot warmer.
Yeah, a lot warmer for us here in Saskatchewan. Despite temperatures being a few degrees below seasonal, it was a very nice day. A few showers in the south tonight. Let's take a look at where that is. We're going to see a non-severe thunderstorm in the southeast corner for areas around Estevan, as well as a thunderstorm in the southwest corner around Swift Current. And with that storm, we could see wind gusts up to 60 kilometers an hour and dime to nickel-sized hail. And temperature-wise, things were feeling quite warm, although we were a few degrees below seasonal. Some areas of the south even a little cooler, just hovering around 20 degrees or a few degrees above. In the coming days, we're going to see things warming up. We also saw some relief to air quality, with air quality warnings lifted for much of south and central Saskatchewan. The only area of central that's still under that warning is places like Melfort and Tisdale. We obviously continue to see those warnings in place for areas around La Ronge. But in the coming days, even La Ronge is going to get some relief. We're going to start seeing the smoke in that area get pushed up towards the far north or even out towards Manitoba. And by Thursday, there is a possibility of seeing some smoke plumes return to areas like Estevan and Regina. But in the province, we're going to see a very calm week weather-wise. By Thursday, we're seeing mainly clear skies, maybe some scattered showers in the late afternoon around the northern grain belt and areas around La Ronge. As well as into Thursday, we're going to continue to see very calm skies. Again, maybe just some scattered showers in the north there around La Ronge, which is definitely needed. It's where those fires are. And into Friday, we're just seeing mainly clear skies throughout much of the province. And wind-wise Thursday, things again feeling very calm. We're just seeing a bit of a breeze up north, and the direction is favorable in pushing maybe some of that smoke down towards south and central Saskatchewan. Very calm day Wednesday. As we get into the overnight period, we're going to see some wind pick up in the southwest around Swift Current, but again, wind direction is going to be favorable in pushing smoke back up towards the north if we are seeing some smoke by Thursday. And into Thursday evening, again, just a bit of a breeze throughout much of the south. Temperature-wise, things were feeling, again, a little bit cooler Tuesday, but by Wednesday, we're going to see things return to seasonal, hovering around 25 degrees. And by Thursday is when things are really heating up. We're going to see temperatures jumping up to 30 degrees, and that's going to continue into Friday as well as into the weekend. So, Ethan, maybe it's the time to go to the beach this weekend with temperatures at 30 degrees.
Yeah, sure looks like it. Okay, thanks so much, Helena.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, two Canadian swimmers finished off of the podium in the women's 100-meter backstroke final in Singapore on Tuesday.
And McEwen is on her way. It may even be a world record. McEwen goes in and takes the gold, and she takes it a championship record.
It was not the finish Canadian swimming fans were hoping for at the World Championships. Australia's Kaylee McEwen came out on top. Canadian Kylie Massey finished fourth, only 0.32 seconds behind the third-place finisher. Her teammate Taylor Ruck finished seventh. Montreal's Elia Caroon qualified for the final of the men's 200-meter butterfly, which takes place Wednesday. Well, some kids are spending their summer holiday at the beach or in the pool. One 9-year-old will be hitting the links in Northern Ireland for an international competition. Stephen Richard has his story.
Taking a swing in preparation for the biggest opportunity in his young golf career so far. This is 9-year-old Connor Hanska. He lives in Birdtail Sioux, Dakota Nation. And he's a member of Whitefish Lake First Nation in Alberta. And he's on his way to play in the Champion of Champions World Championship. We caught up with him at the Winnipeg airport before he left.
It's really important because it's one of the best tournaments out of this world.
Connor will be among 250 of the best junior golfers in the world from more than 40 countries. On a course that is a big deal in the golf world. Loch Earn Golf Resort in Enniskillen, Northern Ireland. His mother, Destiny Jackson, says Connor has been swinging a golf club since he could walk, and she's impressed with his dedication.
I really don't know how he has the mindset and the practice. Like, he practices every day. Like, you have to have a whole different character to do something like that.
Connor's parents aren't the only ones impressed with his skill. We had a pro golfer take a look.
I haven't actually met him, but looks awesome. Great off of the backswing position, little bowed wrist, and comes down and just lines through it and just rips it. So it's a gorgeous swing. It looks like he's quite the player.
This is Connor's first international tournament. Connor's hopes remain high.
I'm gonna go practice and hopefully shoot a good score.
For CBC Indigenous, Stephen Richard, Winnipeg.
You're watching CBC Saskatchewan News.
Well, from young golfers to to young newscasters. These kids are from the Airlo Early Learning Center in Regina. They took a tour of our CBC studios Tuesday morning, and that included a chance to be a weathercaster for a day where they learned that all-important rule of not wearing green in front of the green screen. And they were pretty quick studies too. You can see they're already using the weather remote and even pointing in all the bright spots as well. Big thanks to them for stopping by. They're going to head out of the weather center, and Helena will be back with the rest of your forecast after the break. The Saskatchewan Roughriders hit the practice field after improving to 6-1 this past weekend. The Riders beat the Edmonton Elks 21-18 on Friday night at Mosaic Stadium, but it was a struggle for much of the offense. It meant the Green and White's defense stepped up to secure the win. The Riders recorded 8 sacks on the night, and 2 of the stalwarts on the defensive line are reflecting on their strong performance.
I think it was our best performance this year. I mean, obviously you get 2 sacks across the board with me, Scoop, and Micah. You know, that's big. You know, to have 8 sacks total, that's incredible. But you know, we look at the film and we're like, man, we left so many more sacks out there.
The D-line, you can have a lot of good rushes, and you know, you don't wind up getting the sack. So I think it finally came together for us just as a group, where it wasn't just one game where one guy really had a good game. We all had it together.
The Calgary Stampeders lost last week, which means the Riders are alone again atop the West Division standings. In fact, they are atop the league standings at the moment, too. Next up for the Riders is a trip to Montreal to face the Alouettes on Saturday night. And Helena is back now with one last look at our forecast.
Well, things are definitely going to be heating up in the province over the next few days. Let's take a look at the forecast for the city of Regina. The sun is going to be out all throughout the week. Wednesday, temperatures return to seasonal, but by Thursday, that hot weather is going to be coming in with temperatures hovering just below the 30-degree mark, and we're going to see that weather all the way into the weekend with overnight lows closer to the 20-degree mark. Into Sunday, we're going to see temperatures drop down a little bit with some rainfall as well, and seasonal temperatures into next week. In Saskatoon, the sun will also be out. Again, we're returning to seasonal Wednesday before jumping up closer to 30 degrees into Thursday and Friday. Just one breezy day Thursday. And again, our overnight lows slowly inching closer to that 20-degree mark. But starting on the weekend, we're going to get some rainfall, a chance of thunderstorms, just a 30% chance. We're still going to see things quite warm until Sunday, where we're dropping back to seasonal. And then we're going to still see some rainfall Monday. But again, temperatures could drop even a few degrees below seasonal. But Ethan, a little bit of rain might not stop me. I still might go to the beach with that 30-degree weather.
Hey, yeah, count me in. Finally, some consistent weather for August. Hard to believe that is coming up already. Helena, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ethan.
And that is our news for this Tuesday. For news anytime, you can always head to cbc.ca/Sask or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.